Good morning, students. Welcome to Zoology webinars of Model Schools for Senior Inter. Children, in today's Zoology sessions, we have come up with very interesting topic. Have you any time explored or thought of how humans have evolved? Not only we humans, but how does the life existed on the earth? How it originated? Did you think about that? See, we have come up with the single cellular organisms and we have developed into multicellular organisms. And man, he himself boasts he is very superior, more superior human being. But really, he is the most superior among all? My answer would be a big no. Why means when we confront anything with the nature, many a times man defeated. Nature is the most powerful tool in the universe. Why? Because we may stop one or the other reason we accept and we may get delayed to do any work. It may be homework, it may be any work or to explain or to do research or anything. But nature doesn't stop its work. It is the nature has assigned a particular work. It has never stopped. If it would have stopped, the universe will be no more. That is, on the planet Earth, the life doesn't exist. So still the life is existing and we are moving on. Why? Because nature is doing its job. That job is nothing but evolution. So how the life originated and what are the reasons of these evolutions? Let us learn today with Prashanti ma'am. Okay, good morning, madam.
Good morning, madam.
Yeah, Prashanti madam is from Chigramamidi School, Mandal, the Model School, and from Karimnagar districts. We welcome her. Please take over the session, madam.
Thank you, madam. Good morning, children. Today we shall go with an interesting topic, organic evolution. Objectives. After listening to my lesson, you will be able to know the theories of the origin of life. You will be able to explain what is organic evolution, the various evidences like morphological, paleontological, embryological, molecular evidences in organic evolution. You students, you will be able to appreciate the origin of universe, the origin of earth, and also the life on earth. Yes, what does this picture depict, students? Yes, you have learned even in your 10th class from the Stone Age. That is, the man has been evolved, the evolution of man from the primates. What is evolution? Yes, it is the change of life of man or an organism is evolution. Just see this picture, students. So these are all the different faces. Yes, these are all the faces of the human being. But it says an orderly change from one form to another since time immemorial. Yes, evolution is a branch of biology dealing with the origin of life and also a continuous, endless process of development. That is the change in the inheritance of biological populations over successful generations. And this is a very orderly change. And this continuous small change will lead to a bigger change is called as evolution. The term organic evolution, this was first coined by Herbert Spencer. This is a process of a gradual change from simple to complex organization of an organism. How small changes come into picture? Yes, children, small changes multiply to form a bigger change in an organism. Just here there are two pictures. The first picture that is showing a uncivilized man of the Stone Age, and he is a modern man. So small changes are being leading to a complex organism. This is what we learn in evolution. Origin of life. Many questions confront our mind. How was the universe originated? How was the earth originated? How was the life on earth originated? And what is the mechanism involved in the origin of life? Did they change through time? Yes, these are being unfolded by learning the origin of universe, origin of galaxy, and origin of earth. Let's see to it, students. Origin of universe. Big Bang theory explains when was the universe created. Big Bang was the moment 13.8 billion years ago when the universe began as a hot, dense, tiny fireball. It was a small infinity. Later, the universe started expanding and became cooler. This led to the formation of galaxy, huge collection of gases, billions of stars, and their solar systems are all together form the galaxy. Yes, students, what is our galaxy? Yes, our galaxy is Milky Way, also called as Akasha Ganga. Then why it is called as Milky Way? As it appears as a milky band of light in the sky in the dark area, it has been named as Milky Way. What is the origin of Earth? Earth originated 4.5 billion years ago. Earth formed when gravity pulling swirling gas and dust into has become the third planet from the sun. Life arose on the early Earth by a series of progressive chemical reactions. Origin of Earth is really a complex story, a greatest mystery in the universe. It has undergone a lot of changes. There was high temperature, nearly 5,000 to 6,000 degrees Celsius, heavy lightning, and also thunderstorms, volcanic eruptions, and the lava was flowing. And this is the geological time scale showing the Earth originated 4.5 billion years ago. Life is not so easy. Many theories have been proposed to explain the origin of life. Let's see to some of them, children. They are like theory of special creation, theory of panspermia, theory of abiogenesis, theory of catastrophism, and coercive theory. Theory of special creation. It is purely a mythological belief, not scientifically proved. God created Earth, isn't it, children? All the species on the earth were created by a supreme being. This is being believed by the various religions. Hindus believe Lord Brahma created the earth. Muslims believe Allah created the earth as mentioned in the Quran. And the Christians believe Jesus has created the earth. So this was all supported by the Spanish monk Father Soros. He has said that earth was created by a divine power. Yes, this is all said by only by faith, not by fact, children. That is, it is not scientifically proved. Next comes Cosmozoic theory or Panspermia. Panspermia literally means seeds everywhere. This theory explains life existed elsewhere in the universe. It might have reached the earth in the form of spores or seeds called cosmozoa or panspermia. Hence, this theory says life exists throughout the universe in the form of seeds or spores. Next comes the theory of spontaneous generation or abiogenesis. Bio means living. A means non-living, abio. So this is being supported by the different scientists, and they said that life originated from non-living substances. This has been supported by Aristotle, Plato, and von Helmont. According to these scientists, they believe that insects arise from dew, that is, They arise from non-living substances, children. Fish, frog have arising from mud, and fly maggots arise from meat. So this was all opposed by Louis Pasteur. Next comes the theory of catastrophism. This has been proposed by Georges Cuvier. Earth was subjected to periodic catastrophes. Everything will die, and the new organism would be created after every catastrophe. Next comes the theory of biogenesis. Bio means from living, means life originated from the living organisms. This was proposed by Louis Pasteur. He experimentally proved that life cannot arise from non-living substances. He proved by his swan neck flask experiment. He explained and proved that all life forms originate from the pre-existing life. Next, the theory of chemical and biological origin of life, or coercivate theory. This has been proposed by Oparin, a Russian scientist, and also supported by Haldane of England. They said life has come by the chemical and the biological changes. Origin of life was first a chemical evolution phenomenon that later led to the biological evolution. Let's see first chemical evolution, students. Earth originated approximately 4.5 to 5 billion years ago. Sun rays fall directly on the earth. There was no ozone layer, children, and high temperature, nearly 5,000 to 6,000 degrees Celsius. So these were all the primitive earth conditions, and this was added by the volcanic eruptions and thunderstorms and also heavy lightning. And there was no free oxygen, that it was only a reducing atmosphere all around. Later, the temperature of the earth slowly cooled down over several millions of years. Clouds formed. It was raining continuously for years and formed large oceans and seas. And there was also heavy lightning in the sky. So due to this rain, elements of carbon dioxide, hydrogen, ammonia and methane formed in the water, that is the hot dilute soup, also called as primordial soup. So this all been by the heat of the lightning volcanoes, they form the soup. So by this they have said that life originated in the water, or life has come from the water. The primordial soup elements formed the first biomolecules, that is amino acids, nucleotides, fatty acids, and the glucose. These were the first biomolecules, children, formed from the primordial soup. Next, from the biomolecules formed biomacromolecules. Macro means a bigger in size. They have formed various elements like proteins, RNA, polysaccharides, and protobions. So finally, the nucleic acids and the proteins combine to form nucleoproteins by the chemical evolution. Next comes the biological evolution. So the first protobions are the pre-cells have formed at the starting of the biological evolution. So they are forming a layer of water molecule around it and formed large colloidal aggregates, that is coercivatives, are synthesized. And later, the life originated in the form of first prokaryotes. They are bacteria and archaea. These are the anaerobes and these are heterotrophs. And over here, there was no free oxygen. And this was being growing, the cells were growing and undergoing binary fission and led to the increase of carbon dioxide. So these organisms transferred from heterotrophs to autotrophs, and they was transferring from reducing atmosphere to oxidizing atmosphere. So this picture shows the oldest fossil cell, students. They are stromatolites. That is, they have been formed from the sediments of the various forms of bacteria like cyanobacteria, blue-green algae. Next comes the chemoautotrophs. So the chemoautotrophs, which thrive in hot, high temperature, evolved. These are also anaerobic, and these release sulfur as a waste. For example, when you take iron and sulfur bacteria. Later, photoautotrophs have come into the picture. Okay, photo means light, means they utilize the sunlight. For example, when you take blue-green algae, etc. So this was the oxygen revolution. So these events all transferred the reducing atmosphere to modern oxidizing atmosphere. The various types of bacteria have come into the picture, like purple bacteria, green sulfur bacteria, photoautotrophs, that is plants, algae, bacteria. These all have arise, and the predator cells that engulfed the aerobic bacteria evolved into animal cells, that is eukaryotes. And they have developed into different cell organelles like mitochondria, plastids have evolved. So in this way, children, the ancient anaerobic prokaryotes gave rise to the primitive aerobic eukaryotes. This further gave rise to phytoplanktons, plants, zooplanktons, fungi, and animals. So this picture shows children that is a billion years ago how the earth was originated and how the various organisms have been coming on the earth. Yes, the chemical origin of life was experimentally also been proved. This is being proved by Urey and Miller. Actually, the origin of life was being explained by Oparin. Okay, children. So here, this origin of life experimentally proved, that is by Harold Urey and Stanley Miller, that is with their simulation experiment. Here, the primitive earth conditions, that is the primordial soup, this was being created in this flask. Okay, they created a mixture of water vapor, methane, ammonia, etc. And here in the another flask, they have taken water, that is which was resembling the water on the earth's surface, and they started heating it, and the water vapor which was being coming out, this resembled the water evaporating from the lakes and seas. And this flask of the mixture which was sealed was connected to the electrodes, and this showed the spark of the fire which resembled the lightning in the sky. In this way, after a few days, simple amino acids in the aqueous solution were noticed. So this was the chemical and the biological origin of life. Till now, students, we have studied the various theories of the origin of life. Yes, as our lifespan is too short to notice the slow changes over generations, it is highly impossible. So, scientists have collected evidences from different branches of biology. Let's see to the evidences of evolution. So, they have taken the evidences from the various scientific disciplines, like evidences from paleontology, evidences from embryology, evidences from comparative anatomy, and evidences from cell and molecular biology. Let's see one after the other. The first one is paleontological evidences. Yes, paleo. It is derived from the Greek word old. On means existing. Logos means study. The study of fossils is called as paleontology. It deals with the remains of the organisms. So this is the picture, children, of the fossil of dinosaur and also the remains of the insects. Fossils, these are the remnants, might be of the plant or might be of the animal, might be full or might be partial. So these have been lived millions of years ago. These are preserved in the layers of the earth and excavated from the soil. Yes, when you see, this is the fossil of the tiger, and also this is of the white horse. So the hard parts, these are being fossilized. Only hard parts are fossilized? No, even the soft parts also can be fossilized. So let's see the types of the fossils. They are soft parts, molecular fossils, trace fossils, carbon fossils, pseudo fossils. First one, soft parts. So these are being frozen in the ice to preserve them. And molecular fossils. These are rocks or sediments. These are being stable for billions of years. Trace fossils. The name itself says trace, means leaving a mark as a footprint or impression. Carbon fossils are living organisms. Body contains carbon. When an organism dies, carbon remains even after burying. Pseudo fossils, water solutions of the minerals speed through sediments and they take the shape of plants and animals, but they are not true. So that's why the name is given as pseudo fossils. So these are the various types of the fossils we find. Yes, this is the fossil, this is the sediments, and these are the molds. Earth has different layers of sediments. Based on the age of rocks, a time scale was being prepared, and this is being called as geological time scale. It depicts the different stages of the evolution of life on Earth over past millions of years. It provides the most direct evidence for the concept of evolution. This is the geological timescale, children. It consisted of eras and the periods mentioning of the various organisms. Just see, children, this is the Precambrian period or the Proterozoic era. This is the biggest era we can say. Next comes the Paleozoic era. After that, followed by Mesozoic and the Cenozoic eras. When you see this Ordovician period, so this was the age of invertebrates. Children, what are invertebrates? Yes, the organisms which are not having backbone, that is a lack of vertebral column, are called as invertebrates. So Ordovician period was the age of invertebrates. These are all the fishes. So the Devonian period was the age of fishes. That is, from that period, the organisms having vertebral column have arisen. The body was differentiated into trunk and tail. These are the amphibians. The Carboniferous period was the age of amphibians. Jurassic period, this was the age of dinosaurs, means in that period, dinosaurs existed. Yes, children, this is the Cenozoic era, and here we find the human beings, the various animals existing. So our present era is Cenozoic era. So this picture also shows, children. So this is the biggest era, as I have already said, Precambrian period or Proterozoic era, followed by Paleozoic era, Mesozoic era, and the present era is the Cenozoic era. We are here, children. Yes. On the primitive Earth, Earth is a solid crust. When you see over here, for example, the Carboniferous period, that is the age of amphibians, they lived, they died. Okay, and many, they have been buried on the earth. Next, the reptiles have come into the picture. Those organisms also lived and these were buried. And next, this has been ruled by mammals. So in this way, we can see that the lower strata of the earth has lesser fossils, and when you see the upper strata, that it is having more fossils. So this we can also learn by the evolution of horse. Yes, children, horse also has been evolved from the various forms. When you see this one, this occurred 50 million years ago. This is the first horse, children. This is Hippus. This is nearly a very small size, like we can say it is the size of the fox, children. And next comes the Mesohippus, and from this it has been originated to Parahippus, and finally it has come to the Equus. This is the modern horse. Then what is the difference? Then what is the change we notice? Yes, children, the toes have developed. It has developed, and it has size has increased to a greater height. The neck, it is having now a long neck, and now you see it is a single hoofed digit. Just see, children, the modern horse, it is having a single hoofed digit. That is over here, the other digits have disappeared. Okay, and next when we see the camel, what is camel, children? Yes, it is a ship of the desert. Okay, it has also evolved from the various forms, and now the modern camel, it is having a big hump, a short tail, long legs, and a long neck. Connecting links means these are the organisms which are been connecting from one phylum to the other phylum. This is Isthenopteron, a first fish to venture out into the land. Fish live in water, but this organism, this was a connecting link between the fishes and the amphibians. Yes, this is Simoria, an extinct terrestrial tetrapod. This was a connecting link between amphibians and reptiles. This is Archaeopteryx. This is the first bird-like dinosaur. It was a connecting link between the reptiles and birds. That is, it was showing both reptilian and bird features. This is Cynognathus. Yes, this is a mammal-like reptile, children. And this is a size of a wolf. And when you see its jaw, it is nearly the size of the jaw of the dog. Yes, dog is a mammal, isn't it, children? So this was a connecting link between reptiles and mammals. So this is all about paleontology, children. Next we see embryology. What is embryology? The study of the formation and the development of the organism is called as embryology. Ernst Haeckel, the father of embryology, Van Boer, the father of modern embryology, observed that there is relationship between animals when embryos of different animals are observed. Just see this picture, children. This is the embryo of the human. Here, the name is mentioned itself on the slide, human embryo. If this name is not mentioned, can you say it is an embryo of human? No, you might get confused. It might be an embryo of the cat, cow, pig, whatever it is. Means embryos resemble each other. Yes, embryos provide, that is resembling with one another similarity. Embryology provides evidences from the observations of Van Boer, sequence of the developmental stages, biogenetic law, otherwise called as the theory of recapitulation. Let's see observations of Van Boer. Van Boer studied the embryos of fish, salamander, tortoise, chick, rabbit, and human. He observed the early embryos. Children, these are the early embryos. Just see this, children. They resemble each other very closely in some features. But when you see the embryos of the final stages, they are different, isn't it, children? So if I do not show the early stages and asked to find out just by showing the final stages, you will be getting a little bit confused. So over here, when you see the embryos are all similar in the early stages, isn't it? So this indicates that these are the animals having common ancestry. Next, the sequence of the developmental stages. Life begins with a single cell stage, that is the zygote. Yes, by the cleavage, by the mitotic divisions, it has been forming 2, 4, 8, 16 celled stage, that is the morula, further changing to the blastula and further converting to the gastrula, that is forming the three layers, ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, which is giving rise to the various organs. So when we see the stages of development from zygote to gastrula, these are almost the same in all the organisms. This sequence of embryo shows that every multicellular organism passed through the above stages, which represents the common ancestry. Yes, this is the biogenetic law, also called as theory of recapitulation. This was proposed by Ernst Haeckel. He stated ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny, means the developmental history of an organism repeats the evolutionary history of its ancestors. Let's see with an example. The tadpole larva of the frog. That is over here, this resembled the fish both externally and internally. That is, it is having tail, gills and the two-chambered heart. Later metamorphosized into the adult frog. Means this is having an ancestor. We can say, children, we can also see with one more example, the caterpillar larva of butterfly. This resembles the annelid in the body form. We can also learn from the embryos of chicken and also the humans. So in this picture, children, we find the gill slits and the tail. But when you see in the human, now the gill slits are modified into lungs and the tail has been completely reduced. But these are all been opposed by von Baer. Okay, over here, when you see, Ernst Haeckel said that the developmental stages, they recapitulate adult evolutionary stages, might be fish, frog, and bird. But von Baer, that is, he said that there was no such recapitulation. Embryo's development is completely increasingly diverse. Let's see the evidences from comparative anatomy. When we compare the anatomy of the different animals, we find similarities among them. These relationships can be studied under homologous organs, analogous organs, vestigial organs, atavistic organs. Okay, so over here, first one, homologous organs. That is, organisms having same structure, having a common ancestor, but different in function are called homologous organs, and this is called as homology. Let's see with an example. So these are the appendages of the vertebrae. When you see the arrangement of the bones, that is the forelimbs of the human, cat, the flipper of the whale, and the wings of the bat. So here when you see the arrangement of the bones was really the same. Yes, children. But the external structure, the functions are varying. Isn't it, children? That is over here, a bird flies in the air. Human will be walking on the earth. Horse is running. So the functions are entirely different. So this is homology. Yeah, these are the caudal vertebrae. Just see, children, this is the dinosaurs. When you see the neck region here, these are having cervical vertebrae. This you have learned in the skeletal system, children, in your before chapter of your second year. So cervical vertebrae, it is having 7 bones in the neck region. Okay, so over here, this now we are also having cervical vertebrae. Means over here, this cervical vertebrae, so this has been resembling to that of the dinosaurs also, but the functioning is different, isn't it? Yes, when the animals of certain habitat enter into different habitat, they form different forms. So this all indicates divergent evolution. Homologous organs show divergent evolution. So here, children, we can take an example, that is the beak pattern variation of the Darwin finches of the Galapagos Islands. This you have learned even in your 10th class students. So that is here, the beaks are all different. These are all the finch birds. But when you see, their beaks are being modifying according to the substance they are being eating. Might be the fruits, might be the insects, might be the seeds. Okay, children. So that is divergent evolution. This is the marsupials, might be here, that is koalas, possums, kangaroos. So here they are appearing the size of the cat, mole, and also here this is a kangaroo having a pouch. So here we can say that they have come from a common origin. Yes, horse is a mammal. This is a bat, a mammal, a dolphin, a mammal. But when you see, the mode of living is different. This is living on the earth, this is flying in the air, and this is living in the water. So we can say might be like bats and the dolphins, they have come, are having a common ancestor. Next, when you see this fishes, children, these are having two chambered heart. Then how is the blood flowing? Yes, the venous blood flows from the gills directly to the organs. But when you see the human heart, how many chambers, children? Yes, 4 chambers. And the deoxygenated blood, it is been going into the lungs, purifying, and this oxygenated blood is carried to the heart, and from the heart it is going to the organs. So here, see children, the functioning is different. So we can take this as an example of homologous organs. Next, we learn analogous organs. What are analogous organs? Analogous organs are having, that is the same function, but in the structure and the origin, they are completely different. And this suggests the convergent evolution. Let's see with an example. This is a butterfly and this is a bird. Just see the anatomy of the wings, children. Yes, this is the wings of a butterfly, wings of the bird. Okay, children, when you see this anatomy, this both types of wings, these are entirely different. Isn't it, children? The structures are also different, but their function is the same. What is their function? They both are flying. So this we can take an example under analogous organs. This is dolphins having flippers and sharks having pectoral fins. Okay, so the structures, the origin are different, but the function is the same. What is its function? Swimming in the water. Next, when you take this annelid, that is the earthworm, this reptile, the snake. Yes, when you see this body forms, both live in the burrows. So these are all analogous organs, children, suggesting convergent evolution. Vestigial organs. What are vestigial organs? These are the remnants of the organs functional in the ancestors, but now these are non-functional and reduced in the descendants are called as vestigial organs. Let's see a few examples. When you see, this is the snake, children. In the olden days, snakes were having legs. These were having the hind limbs. These were resembling to the legs of the human being. That is having the femur bone, that is having tibia, fibula. But now these legs of the snakes, these were of no use. So these have been completely reduced. Next, when you see the pelvic girdle of the whale, this is a small bone, children. this was of no use. So this was been completely vestigial organ, we can say. And these are flightless bird, like we can take emu, or also ostrich, we can take flightless birds. So this wings are not useful as they are not flying. So these are vestigial organs. Examples we can take. Next, we can also take nictitating membrane. What is the nictitating membrane, children? Yes, this is a fold, a third fold in the eye structure. Actually, where it is useful in the organisms of aquatic, means the organisms living in water require nictitating membrane to protect their eyes. Okay, then I think we don't require nictitating membrane. And also only when we go for swimming, we wear goggles, isn't it? So nictitating membrane is useful for the aquatic organisms. So it is a vestigial organ for the humans. Next, pinna, that is the external part, ear. And we can also say that is hair on the body, and the mammary glands in the male. And wisdom tooth. This you have studied in your first chapter, children. Digestive system. Okay, what are wisdom teeth? Yes, they are 4 teeth, children. That is in the last upper and lower jaws. 4 wisdom teeth we observe. These are completely non-functional. And these are the segmental muscles on the abdomen. And this is the appendix. This is a finger-like projection. This is arising from the cecum, and the hair on the pinna. So over here, these are all the vestigial organs. So in man children, there are nearly 180 types of vestigial organs. So we can say human being as a moving museum of antiquities. Atavism. What is atavism? A sudden appearance of some vestigial organ which was seen in the ancestor is called as atavism, and that organs are called as atavis organs. So now these are being lost during the due course of development. Let's see to it by few examples, children. Here, the appearance of the tail, cervical fistula on the neck, thick hair all over the body, might be the chest, even on the hands, or also on the back side, and the moving pinna, and the carnivorous teeth resembling the vampire teeth, and the tail even now in small babies. So these are all which we have seen in our ancestors, and sometimes they may appear. So these all examples we can take under atavism. Next, see the connecting links. What are connecting links? We have learned this even in paleontology, children, just now. Connecting links, organisms having characters of 2 different groups of organisms, and these are establishing continuity between the 2 groups that one group has evolved from the other is called as connecting link. Let's see some examples. These are very important, children, for your competitive examinations and also for your IPE. Yes, this is peripatus, showing the connecting link between annelids and arthropods. This is prototherian, a connecting link between reptilia and mammalia. This is Archaeopteryx, a bird-like dinosaur, and this was being discovered in the year 1861, and this has been preserved in the British Museum, London. This was being found in Germany. This Archaeopteryx, this is the fossil, children, of Archaeopteryx. By this, scientists imagined the bird might have been appearing like this. This is the Archaeopteryx, and it shows both the features of bird and reptilia. So when you see the bird features, it was having a beak, also the feathers and the wings. It was also having reptilian features. It was having a long tail, having teeth in the beak, and also bones, skeleton, and was having fingers with the claws. So Archaeopteryx is a connecting link between the reptiles and the birds. This is a very important topic. Next, we shall see with the evidences from cell and molecular biology. All living organisms have structural and functional unit, that is the cell. Yes, children, every organism is having cell, and it is also having biomolecules. And this is the picture showing that the human beings have arose from the monkeys. So when you see, these are all having the cells, the composition, the various cell organelles, they're also one and the same. Like they are having the different cell organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, that is nucleus, Golgi complex, vacuoles, etc. Here we find, children, a few organelles like ribosomes. What is the use, children? Yes, these are useful in protein synthesis. These are also having DNA. All living organisms have DNA, children. That is useful. That is hereditary material, ATP structure. So this will be storing and releasing energy. And all organisms have amino acids, and all organisms have the same genetic code. And also, while eating for the digesting, etc., we are also having, that is the enzymes like trypsin and amylase. So children, all organisms, that is they are having the same enzymes, that is from the sponges till the mammals when you see. Next, this is the cytochrome C, a very small protein. This is playing an important role in electron transport chain seen in the mitochondria in almost all the cells. This indicates the biochemical reactions occur in all organisms. These are the same, and the same relationship among all the organisms on the earth. Next, we see to the blood precipitation test. Yes, this is also called as serological test, children. This is been found out by Nuttall. So here, he has done an experiment. He has taken a human serum and injected into the rabbit. This developed the antibodies. Okay, so this anti-human serum was later mixed with the serum of apes, monkeys, and also dogs in separate test tubes. And later he has seen to the reaction of the precipitate. He has found that a thick precipitate was formed in the serum of the ape, a moderate precipitate in the monkeys, and there was no precipitate formation in the dog. So by this, he has proved that the anthropoid ape was more close to the man than to the monkey and to the dog. He also has done the similar, the blood precipitation test on the various organisms and proved that the whale was closely related or resembling to that of the pig. And also South American llamas closely related to the camels of Eurasia. Is it not interesting, children, to see that evolutionary relationships can be proved by such simple tests? Isn't it, children? Yes, this is what about blood precipitation test. Biochemical recapitulations. Animal recapitulations, the biochemical aspect of their ancestors. When you see the excretory materials of the various organisms, children, the aquatic organisms like fish, they release ammonia. When you take the birds release uric acid, the mammals will be releasing urea, that is ureotelic animals. When you see over here with an example, that is the tadpole of the frog, this will be releasing the excretory material, that is ammonia. This is an excretory material of fish, isn't it, children? And later, this will be releasing the excretory material as urea in the adult stage. Okay, children, over here, when you see the tadpole larva is excreting ammonia, and the adult frog is releasing urea. We can also see an interesting example, children, that is embryo of the bird. It excretes the various excretory materials. We'll see, children, first it was excreting ammonia during the first 4 days of development. Yes, ammonia, this has been released in fishes. Okay, so in the first 4 days of development of the chick embryo, it was releasing ammonia. Yes. Next, it was releasing urea, like it was the excretory material of the amphibians. Next, in the later stages of the development, the bird, it has been excreting uric acid. Uric acid is excretory material of reptiles and the birds. So in this way, in its life, it has been in the first 4 days excreting ammonia, later urea, and at last the uric acid. So we can say that birds are uricotelic, isn't it, children? So this all shows its common ancestry. So children, this is the mind map. The evidences of evolution, that is, we have studied the various evidences of evolution by the paleontological evidences, that is the study of fossils. Also the study of embryology, that is the development of embryos, homologous structures, analogous structures, also the vestigial structures, atavism, and also from the cell and molecular biology. Let's recap, children. We learned the various theories of special creation, panspermia, abiogenesis, catastrophism, biogenesis, and coercive theory. We also learned the evidences for biological evolution by the various scientific disciplines like paleontology, embryology, comparative anatomy, cell and molecular biology. Yes, here is an assignment, children, a few important questions which are probably being asked for your IPE. What are panspermia? Define prebiotic soup. Who coined this term? How did eukaryotes evolve? What are the components of the mixture used by Urey and Miller in their experiments to stimulate the primitive atmosphere? Mention the names of any 4 connecting links that you have studied. Define biogenetic law, giving an example. Define atavism with an example. Distinguish between homologous and analogous organs. I thank Additional Director Satyanarayan Reddy sir, Joint Directors, my Principal Srinivas sir, all the principals, coordinators Vijay Lakshmi Madam, Shailaja Madam, and also the whole webinar team for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much, ma'am. The session was very elaborative and I felt I was watching a movie, evolution lesson.
Thank you,
the
madam.
Pictures were very apt and children would definitely benefited from this session. Children, please revisit the channel and also make a notes of all these things which you are maintaining for webinar classes. Okay. Thank you once again, madam. Have a great day, students.